So in 2023, I was able to shave 4 seconds off my lap time. From this to this. Welcome back to Bath Racing Garage. In this video, we're going to talk about something a little more specific, which is racing line. Just want to put a disclaimer out there. I make no claims of knowing everything about riding motorcycle, nor do I claim to be an expert. This is just sharing my personal experience, and I'm hoping that some of you may find value in this video. Before we start, let's first explain what a racing line is. And of course, we go to Google. According to Wiki, racing line is the optimal path around a racetrack. Knowing the correct racing line for any track is the foundation on becoming a better rider. And of course, there's many different racing lines and they all have their own purposes. And understanding each of them is a part of it. In this video, we'll talk about 3 types of lines: racing lines, defensive lines, and qualifying lines. Here we have an example of a racing line. We'll use that black mark on the road as reference. As can be seen, we are approaching that corner at a wider angle. This will allow us to carry higher mid-corner speed. We'll use that curve as a reference and take note of our corner speed. Because of the higher mid-corner speed, this will allow us to gain much more speed down the back straight. We'll use that blue marker on the left side as a reference and take note of our speed. Now let's have a look at a defensive line. We'll use that black mark on the road as a reference. As can be seen, our corner entry is a little tighter. The goal is to cover the inside line and prevent another rider from block passing. The downside to this is we have a much slower corner entry speed. We'll use that curve as a reference and take note on our mid-corner speed. A slower mid-corner speed will result in a much slower corner exit. We'll use that blue marker on the left side as a reference and take note on the speed. As you can see, the difference between the racing line and the defensive line are quite different. And of course, each of them has their own specific purpose. The defensive line's purpose is to prevent something like this. Here, another rider blocks my path, resulting in a successful pass. Well, what about the qualifying line? The qualifying line in some ways will be similar to the racing line with a few variations. While the racing line is the optimal path around the racetrack with other riders in mind, the qualifying line does not have to worry about possible pass from the riders behind. Therefore, a slight change in the corner entry at the most important corner on the racetrack, which is the corner before the back straight. As you can see on the green dotted line, it requires later turn-in, allowing you to have longer time on the throttle, resulting in much faster speed down the back straight. These lines will change depending on your pace, the bike you're using, as well as the road condition. But the truth is, during a race is quite chaotic. Everyone has their own line depending on their pace. And it makes it quite difficult to stick to the correct racing line. And that line can change depending on the action that you're planning to do. Whether it would be to set up a pass, make a pass, defend, or even to try to run away with a race. So the question remains, how does racing line help me get faster? Knowing the correct racing line for any track is the foundation on becoming a better rider. Knowing the racing line will affect your braking, corner entry speed, corner exit speed, as well as set you up for the next corner and your confidence. In my case, I knew where the correct racing line were and where I should be on the track. But for some reason, I could not follow it. I'm sure I'm not the only one that struggled with this. As I approached the corner, I seemed to hesitate and take the safe route. And it took a lot of seat time and practice over and over again to get my body and mind used to braking, holding the line, tipping in when I need to. Because I was using the wrong racing line, I suffered a lot with my mid-corner speed, corner exit, even all the way to the end of the back straight. By shadowing faster riders and talking to other people, as well as a lot of practice and seat time, I was able to sort out my racing line. Following the correct racing line allowed me to have much faster entry corner speed, much faster exit speed, as well as higher speed down the back straight. Helped me shave 4 seconds off my lap time. Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of track day organizers offer sighting lap on the first, sometimes second session of the day. It's not just to learn the track, but also to get to know where the racing line is. And I see it all the time on my local track. Turn 3, what should be a double apex corner, they make it into 2 corners. They hug the inside line. That means they're going into that corner with their braking wrong, their throttle wrong. It just sets you up in a wrong path of learning. Before you start working on your braking, your body position, learn the racing line. Ask somebody on track. Go and shadow somebody. So I highly recommend learning the proper lines first. It sets you up on learning the other skill sets on the right path.